Welcome back to the Library Wanderer. Today we have another author's spotlight. This week's shines on Florita, aka Bingus, aka that disgusting mango nada sugar. Don't let the nickname fool you, however, because her works are heavy hitters, and will make you feel like you have been repeatedly punched in the emotional kidneys. On that note, but more seriously, due to the topics touched on in these works, I will have a link to a page containing the help hotlines to call in a number of countries in the description. Please use them if you feel it is necessary. Now, without further ado, let us begin. The first book you pick up has small beads strung together on the cover. Rosary beads. You are the sun, the way I cannot look at you without my eyes beginning to water, without my face flushing. And I wonder if I should thank my father for warning me of times like these, or curse him for creating this self-fulfilling prophecy, for creating such a foul and wretched creature. Undeserving creature. Perhaps I'm still that frightened child wearing boots far too big, walking around looking for home, wherever that is. I can feel her clawing around in my ribcage sometimes. I can feel her fingers in the back of my throat as she tries to grip my tongue. I drown her with a pulsating, dirty hatred until I can feel it leaking out my ears. And I break open like a pomegranate. I break firm skin with my thumbs, juice running down my fingers and arms. I can feel the seeds inside me grow brown and mushy. When God breaks me open each night, I wonder if he cares. Is religion just hoping that eventually someone will find you good enough to eat? Praying for someone to worship your mushy seeds? Is it how love is supposed to feel? Is salvation found in the arms of my mother? God created a being unfit to love, to be loved. He placed an unwelcome stranger in my body, watches as she learns to walk as I do, talk as I do. Become more me than I ever was. He lets me clip her wings every so often. There were so many who came before me, and I can't help but pray at least one ancestor is proud. That she may see herself in me. Someone wanted me once. Is it too much to imagine someone reaches for me in the same insane, hungry way I desperately reach for them? Is it strange to fear it? God reveals things to me. A woman sits on a park bench beside me, knee touching mine with a familiarity I cannot comprehend.
You are a creature made to yearn,
she says.
Entirely empty, but so much smaller than you think. You pray for rain until it comes. You hide under an awning. Observe. You light another cigarette. It's comfortable, isn't it?
I don't ask her what this means. The pit in my stomach knows. What is a creature made to claw itself to death meant to say? What is there left? God will watch as this wretched body rots. A lovely little read, that one. Hitting hard, but not too hard. The next book smells of candles and coconut oil, and a shard of glass slipped from it to the floor. Of candles and coconut oil. I fell in love when I was 16. She was the most breathtaking girl I'd ever met. She had a wide mouth with plump brown lips that stretched around her ivory teeth when she smiled, showing off that one silver canine she always bragged about. She always told me she hated her eyes, though. She would complain about their boring black hue. I never understood that. To me, they were like the clearest nights in Manhattan, when the light pollution died just enough so you could barely see the stars. Her hands were rough and calloused. They sent a warm feeling creeping up my arm and into my chest whenever she grabbed mine. The feeling of her thumbs brushing my cheeks always made me sigh contentedly as I slid my hands on top of hers. Little things would excite her. When the leaves changed colors with the seasons, a hot pink motorcycle parked out of our apartment complex, rain on a hot summer day fogging up our windows and wetting our hair. She would do my hair sometimes. She'd cluck like a mother hen about how dry it was, and how I needed to lay off of washing it so often. And she'd shove a little plastic baggie of coconut oil into my hands afterwards. Truthfully, I'd let it get wild and dry, just because I missed the feeling of her warm hands massaging my scalp. I missed the smell of tea tree oil on her fingers when she would turn my face to give me a chaste kiss on the cheek. Her musical laugh as I'd stick my tongue out at her. I don't know why I'm writing about you. It's been years now. Maybe I miss when things were simpler. I don't know. I remember when my mother found out about us. I was 18 then. I never found out how. I just found her sitting outside of her apartment building, with all my possessions in garbage bags. I remember the nauseating crack of my nose as she chucked a bag full of hard-covered textbooks at my face, the deafening sound of my knees hitting the concrete, hands scrambling for purchase as sharp gravel embedded itself into my palms. I remember her screaming at me, but my head was swimming with too much pain to make out anything that she said. I rose to grab the other bags, but she grabbed the hair on back of my head as I approached, to scream in my face. Her spittle and my blood mixed in a disgusting pool right below my nose, right above my top lip that had started to swell and throb. I don't know how long she held me, but later I remember robotically picking up my bags and shoving them into the back of my shitty, used Honda. I had barely opened the door to the driver's seat before something collided with my windshield, putting deep cracks into it. I looked to the source of the projectile and saw my mother, splotchy red face heaving as she quickly turned around to avoid my eye and slammed the door in my face for the last time. I walked around the car to pick up whatever my mother deemed appropriate to hurl at me. I almost laughed at the absurdity of it all. It was that candle, in the cute red glass jar you'd made for me for my birthday a month back. Broken glass surrounded the dented white cylinder of scented wax now coated in a layer of dirt, and God knows what else. I picked up a jagged shard. It read, "Forev," written in delicate calligraphy. My nose and lip dripped blood on the fragment as I examined it, finding the crevices where the word was carved and adding another darker red to it. It used to say, "Forever yours." I still have that candle, you know. I just can't bring myself to burn it. Hopefully, the girl was able to find a better place for herself. Next, you pick up a letter with smooth corners, and it looks like they crossed out a number of parts of it. Smooth stones. Mom, I fucked it up again. I don't want to be like this. I don't. I just can't remember if it's ever been different. I'm lost. I'm floating in the sea of it all. I can feel the undercurrent slowly dragging me down in my struggle for breath. I can't help but admit that you were right. I was never ready for this. I don't know who I am without you. I need you. I need to cry like I used to when you'd tell me I can't recognize myself. I don't remember anything before you. I'm not even sure if I remember you, at least not anything real about you, about me. I don't want anything anymore. No. That's a lie, actually. Maybe if there was a way to know who was right and wrong, to know who you are, without a shadow of a doubt, I could move on.
But life is not a clear stream. Life is a muddy, murky lake with debris floating to the top and sinking back down on a whim. Faces appearing and disappearing under the water, all whispering their own secrets. Swimming to the bottom gets me no closer to understanding. I want to be treated with tenderness. I want someone to hold me and tell me that I am beautiful and perfect and that nothing was my fault, but I couldn't take it. I take it in doses from therapists and short-lived friendships. And men and men and men and men. I need the bitterness too. I need the conflicting flavors to melt on my tongue in a perfect blend of agony and bliss. I need to be angry. I need to resent everyone and myself. I need to glue together the pieces I still have left in the shape of a person. I need someone to tell me I'm worthless again. I need something concrete, something I can be. Maybe if I grind it down into a fine enough powder, I can make a sandcastle with it, build a moat so the waves can't crash over me and make me dust anew. My body is a temple. My body is a fire pit. My body is a furnace. I spend days going on empty, breathing in the ash and soot and clasping my blackened hands together in a silent prayer that one day it will finally fill my lungs. Other days, I am alive with the fire licking my face, evaporating my tears that will never get a chance to fall. I am aflame with hatred and it has nowhere to go. The pressure rips me apart and I cannot for the life of me remember where the pieces were supposed to be. My mind isn't what it used to be. I can't be alone, can't be idle. It all wanders away from me too fast. Like you, in a way. I miss you. I am no longer human. Do you love me? Does it get better? My old English teacher used to tell me that we could all be seen as rocks and life a fast-moving stream that slowly rid us of our hard edges and outer layer, making us into something different. She never said better, just different. Is it strange to miss the edges? Never mind. It's fine. I'm fine. Hope all is well. Say hey to Carmen for me. Chi. Hopefully, Chi is able to become more comfortable. The next book seems like it has been damaged, intentionally. There are parts torn out and it's been left to rot. You will look at me, even if it is just to bury what remains. When I was 8 years old, my father held me down and drilled a hole in my chest. When I got home, I tried to fill it with water, and the rest of my family tried to patch it with tape. But it stayed, never holding enough water to fill it. And when I was 10, he made it bigger. And while he used hands to pin me down, he cursed my body for struggling, cursing it for being so difficult and stiff. And I thought to myself, how lucky am I that he loves me despite. My grandmother was horrified, always trying to fix it, always doing her best to make sure I had something to fill it, even if it never really closed. And this confused me. Why was she the only one who knew? And I would lay awake and wonder what my father would do with those pieces of me. But it started to fester. They made sure to wrap me in layers of cloth, made sure the blood and pus never soaked through. Soon I learned to do it myself, and I learned that the hole would never close. I learned how pieces of flesh would rot away and fall off, and I learned there was no way to prevent it from consuming me. No point. And there I was, a hole, a void, sitting to eat dinner with my family, the cause of all uncomfortable silence, of all disappointment. And how they stopped looking me in the eye. So, I've started tearing myself apart, leaving bloody pieces like a trail of roses to my slowly decaying body. I demand to be seen, and they carefully step over it, brush it aside, tell guests not to step near my destruction, to not pay it mind.
Why won't they look at me? I've been so good. I've done everything right, haven't I? Please look at me. Please look at me. Please. Hopefully, she is able to get the attention and care that she needs. Up next, the interview with Bingus, aka Florita. Alright, so you go by Bingus on the Discord, but Florida on the Wanderer's Library, correct?
Yes.
Well, first questions first, why the difference in names?
Discord is like, I'm a part of a bunch of different Discord servers, and I like to be a little silly. So Bingus is just the first thing that came up. I don't know. I had a lot of really dumb usernames back in the day, but Bingus is the one that stuck because it's mostly Snap that kept like calling me Bingus, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm Bingus now. I guess for the website, I just wanted something like vaguely mysterious, like it can't be directly traced back to me in case any friends or family find whatever I write. So I'm like, okay, Florita, that's like, it's neutral.
If you want me to, like, use a voice disguiser so you can't be tracked down or something, feel free to say.
Oh, no, it's all good. I'm out of that situation now.
Okay, something light before getting onto the stuff that's probably a little bit heavier. What is behind the disgusting mango nada chugger story? Because I've seen it referenced on your, I believe it's your author page and other places.
Oh my god, it's okay. So basically, Destiny, he is not a fan of the Mangonada, and I find that disgraceful because I had one and then it like, I don't know, I don't quite remember the story. I was like upset that there wasn't one at this place I was going, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know why you would drink those anyways. They're fucking gross." And I'm like, "How dare you?" So it's been like a point of contention.
Okay. Alright, now, onto the probably a little bit rougher stuff for some people.
Whoop whoop.
Yes, wonderful. So, first of all, I wanted to say your works are absolutely amazingly written. To use a phrase that I probably heard somewhere and I don't remember where I heard it from, it is like the emotional equivalent of repeated kidney punches.
That is, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so where do you get the emotions to write all this? Is it like, do you have a high level of empathy for people in these situations, or have you gone through stuff like this yourself?
Oh, yeah. I mean, half of it is, creative liberty, and the other half is stuff that I have gone through, especially when it comes to like parental issues, because I feel like that's half of what I write.
Mhm.
It's mostly from my own life, and it's like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people feel the way that I do, especially towards their parents, at least where I grew up, and they just don't have the means to express that. So I guess for me, it's just taking whatever horrible emotion is like brewing inside of you and like vomiting it into a little piece of poetry.
Mhm. And so would you say you're writing this for yourself or for the people who are going through those situations who might read it?
I mean, really, it started for myself because it's funny. Din actually was the one who told me that I should be publishing a lot of this stuff because before I just joined the Discord as a fan.
Mhm.
But as I started writing more and seeing the comments that people would leave on my works, I'm like, man, other people feel like that. That's crazy. So every time I write, I really hope that someone is able to, get something out of it at least.
Mhm. Then with your first story then, Rosary Beats. There's a lot in all of your pieces, but in this one, one of the things that I noticed very much was well, one of the things I had questions about, I should say, was at the end of it, there's the mention of the old woman sitting on the park bench beside you, talking and just like explaining stuff to the world. Is this something that you're making a reference to that happened to you in real life, or is this like a feeling you got just from the world kind of talking to you?
It's it's really more of the world talking to me because I feel like just something about my life is I didn't have a lot of mentors who really knew what they were doing.
Mhm.
And it kind of feels like you have to mentor yourself growing up. So I guess both characters are sort of a representation of me. And one of them is the one that knows what they're doing, and the other one is the one that actually does things.
Yeah.
Because, I feel like in life, kind of deep down what is right and what you should be doing. But a lot of the times you choose to do something else because, well, there's a ton of reasons you choose to do something else. But it's just, you have this internal moral compass that you don't always follow. And sometimes it leads you into terrible places and sometimes it leads you into good places. It really just depends on the situation.
And then the next story was of candles and coconut oil. I've noticed in the Discord you've also been very vocal about like joining protests against anti-LGBTQ stuff. I believe that's what the picture was that I saw at one point, and stuff like that. Is this something that you're doing because? How do I put this? I guess I should
I'm
just
gay.
ask. Well, not what I was getting at, but sure as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gay. Yeah,
Yep.
that's me. I don't know. I'm passionate about LGBTQ rights because, in the culture that I grew up in, I'm Dominican. There's, and I feel like in Hispanic or Latino culture, especially, there's large stigma against those people. And then in America, there's been this rising anti-trans sentiment, which has been really disheartening to see. I mean, I have all of my really close trans and gay friends, and I don't want them to feel like they don't have a place in the world because they do. And the people who think that they don't are dumb. I don't know. There's a better word to describe that, but they're horrendous human beings who have nothing better to do with their time.
Yeah, to put it maybe a bit more politely, blind to the world and blind to others.
Yeah.
And then the next story was Smooth Stones.
Mm.
First of all, written slightly differently because it's got the whole background thing and written as a letter as opposed to, I suppose the others were more internal monologues. Why did you think that a letter would be great? Because I personally, I do also think it's an absolutely great way to write it, and you did an excellent job on that one. But what made you come up with that way of writing for it?
Ah, man. Well, I guess it comes from I've written a lot of letters to people in my family, and it's not been received very well. I don't know. It's like when I was younger, my great grandma always used to tell me that you should write a letter to someone who has hurt your feelings, explaining why they have done that. And I've done that a couple times, and it never went over well. It's never went over well. And it's just become harder to express that because when you're writing a letter to someone who has hurt you, you want them to understand that they have hurt you, but you also don't want to put anything in the letter that they can potentially use against you. Because
Yeah.
it's really easy for a lot of people because, you slip up with your words, you say one thing wrong, and then it's suddenly all on you. So it's like, it's a thing of like trying to be really purposeful with the words that you choose and trying to condense really big, hard to understand emotions into a couple of sentences. And that sucks a lot of the time.
Mhm. And speaking of your grandmother, I believe she was also mentioned in You Look at Me, even if it is to just bear what remains.
Mm.
Was that a good one or a bad one?
No, it's just like sometimes I forget that I mention things and I'm like, oh, wow.
Mhm. So was this one of the ones that you wrote more pertaining to an experience that was had than for others?
Yeah, that was more of a me thing. I mean, I feel like a lot of well, when there's abuse that occurs in a family, it's not as clean as a lot of movies would portray it. Like dad hits kid and then the dad is kicked out of the family and nobody ever talks to them again. That's like rare. A lot of the times there will be people who are enabling the abuser or who are powerless to do anything against the abuser lest the law, come after them, or it's just a very weird dynamic because a lot of abuse also it's very they get inside your head. There can be physical things, but there's also they have to convince you to think a certain way so they can continue to do what they want to do. And it's weird because you want to express to other people that there's something wrong, and a lot of the time they refuse to acknowledge it. And it feels like you're just bleeding out all over the place, and everyone's like, oh, that's chill.
Mhm. And so what would you say to someone who's in a position like this? Just in case someone's listening in and they feel like they can't reach out to someone or something like that.
Yeah, man. I think about that a lot. It's like I don't want to reach out to someone and say it's going to get better as soon as you're out of that situation because there are going to be things that are going to stay with you for your entire life and they're going to impact how you interact with the world. But that's not a reason to not want to continue to go on because your abusers the whole idea is that you will never be able to become anything and that you'll constantly be coming back to them. They want you to come back to them for that reassurance. And when you leave that situation, things may not get better immediately, but you have a chance to do things that you didn't have the chance to do before. You have choices and you have a life. And even if it sucks, it's still worth living because you don't know everything that's out there. And it may seem like your house and your family and your situation are the only things that exist right now, but they're not. There are new experiences that you have never even dreamed of. And no matter whether or not they're bad or good, they're still worth experiencing. And there will always be a reason to keep going, you know?
Mm-hmm. All right. Then last two things, how I've started wrapping these up, because apparently it's tradition now. What is the Wanderer's Library to you?
Oh man, Wanderer's Library to me, it's a space where I can express myself freely. I have my friends here, people that I have been talking to for years, people who've always supported my career, I guess you could call it, I have my good friends, Din, Snap. It's like they got me through some rough times, and I am so grateful that I got to leave my mark on this place, even if it's small.
Mhm. And then finally, who would you like to recommend for the spotlight who hasn't gone already?
Ooh, has Stidge gone?
Stidge has, I believe he was the second one. If I remember correctly, we have had Scaly Kitty, Stygian Blue, Din, and little spoiler for next week, but we have, I'm going to say this wrong, Lizudidian.
Oh, yeah, I love him. I think I would recommend Melted Bee. I love her works. Like, she is an artist. She's amazing. And she's so cool. I just love her. I think she would be great for an interview and just to have her works read. Yeah.
All right. I will move her up the list then. I believe she was also recommended by Blue a little bit ago.
She's popular.
Yeah, seems so. All right. Thank you very much for coming. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, and that has been the spotlight on Bingus, aka Florita. Thank you very much for coming, everyone, and thank you very much to Bingus for allowing me the interview and recommending the works to read. Again, before we go, there is a link in description for a number of hotlines for people to call if they feel like they need it. Please use it if you feel like you do. Know that someone out there is always willing to help, and that you are loved, even if you don't know by who, where, or why. Thank you very much for coming, everyone. Good luck out there.